Hey, are you an ABS? What's that? It's an adult babysitter. I'd like to thank my buddy Eric for all his great movie magic ideas. Now for our topic. So I've been asked a question. What the heck does it mean to move off the X? Well, let's talk about it. First of all, it's just a coined term that somebody came up with to describe a way to get the heck out of Dodge. Get out of the way. Now, are we talking to adults? And should we keep this simple? What does it really mean? Well, simply put, would you stand your butt in the way of a car if a car was coming down the roadway and you were standing in the middle of the road? No. What would you do? Would you get out the X? What X? There's no X. Alright, people? It's imaginary. Okay? It's a concept. Don't get so frightened by words. Alright? It's just a concept. I want you guys to focus on getting this concept correct. Alright? It simply means moving out of the way. Get out of the line of fire. Simply put, get out of the line of fire. Well, why didn't you just say that, Steve? I don't know. Sounds cool to say get off the X, though, doesn't it? Get off the X. Alright. There are a couple of different ways we can train you to get off the X, get out of the way, get out of the line of fire. Alright? But the main point is movement is necessary. Now, this is kind of part one of what I'm going to be talking about. Part two, we'll be talking about actually doing those things. So, today I'm going to shoot in my classroom, as you can see, and tomorrow I'm actually going to go to the outdoor range, and I'm actually going to shoot some stuff. I might even do it today, who knows. Regardless, it'll be movie magic, so you won't be able to tell the difference anyway. What we're going to cover is proper moving out of the line of fire. Because for you guys to understand it, first of all, you need to understand every aspect of it. Okay? So let's talk about 4 or 5 parts of moving. Okay? Moving off the X. Now, again, I like to always go here with this, and I've always been asked, what does that mean, Steve? Don't worry, I'm getting ready to tell you. What it means is this. If you've never done it, it's going to be quite hard for you to explain it to somebody else. Now, you could have learned something in the classroom, absolutely. But have you ever experienced a bullet being thrown at you? And no, I don't mean thrown at you. I mean shot at your head, shot at your feet, shot at your chest, shot somewhere at you. Does that matter, Steve? No, it doesn't really matter. But it just makes a lot more sense when you have. Okay? Because you can understand how your mindset is going to work in these times. You actually will understand when I'm training you why I come from this place. Another thing you can do is watch a lot of YouTube videos. Alright? Believe it or not, YouTube videos will teach you a lot. Alright? Because basically what I'm going to be doing to teach you guys in this video. I'm going to go with the most strangest, awkward shooting position for movement first. Let's talk about being on the ground. Okay? Now, I am totally against all the tactical crap that people show you about shooting on the ground. Okay? First thing first, if you're on the ground with a rifle or a shotgun, cut it out. Okay? It'll never be realistic. Okay? Unless you are shooting prone. Okay? If you're on your back with an AR, a shotgun, or anything else, it is unrealistic. If you're on your back, that means that you are at close range. If you're at close range, being 15 yards, 25 yards in, you should be utilizing a handgun. Okay? And anything for close quarters, you should be using a handgun. Okay? Yes, oh, well, SWAT teams go in and do it. Guess what? I can guarantee you if you surveyed 100 of them, 95% of them would say they would much rather enter with a handgun. Why? It's more discreet, it's more usable, and less likely to get grabbed on when I come through that freaking door. But I'm a SWAT team. Nobody's going to grab my gun. Guess what? Have you ever made a SWAT team entry? If you haven't, shut the heck up. Alright? Because I didn't just get that from the sky. I got that from talking to SWAT team members that I trained with. Alright? Steve, have you ever been on the SWAT team? No, I haven't. I did cooler things like fly the helicopter. Alright, y'all, stop being silly. Back to business. So, going back talking about being on the ground. Let me tell you guys, and this is, I want to make a very valid point here, okay? And listen to me very carefully. If you are on the ground at close distance, you should have a handgun in your hand if you are shooting. Alright, now, the video I am going to be referencing is the video where my buddy Chad Payne, he's an interdiction officer that had a chase with another county or another city, and he was on the ground firing it out with somebody, and he had to utilize the roll to get out of the line of fire on the ground. Here's the bad part. I don't know if Chad was actually doing the shooting of the other guy, but nevertheless, the guy that was on the ground doing the rolling actually lost his gun because it got shot out of his hand when he was up close to these teenage kids that he had pulled over. Now, had he had his gun, he would have been on the ground rolling while firing, upside down and right side up. Some people call it in a prone position. He was never in a supine position. Supine is when your head faces uprange. Prone, obviously, is when your head faces downrange. He was never in a supine position, but had he been, he could have fired from either position. Now, why is that important? Because it actually happened to him and multiple other officers that have been in the line of fire during these type of fights. Secondarily is your kneeling approach. Alright? Learning how to move and go into a kneel position, or learning how to move from a kneel position. Very important, because what if somebody starts to shoot at you and you buy your police car, you buy your personal car, and you got to get down. You need to learn how to properly get down behind a tire and get behind that engine wheel. Okay? And obviously the standing approach. Okay? There's a lot of different positions. That's why I say 4 or 5, because you actually have different positions or different ways that you utilize movement. Number 1 is the famous shoot and move. Alright, now, this is going to depend on the type of scenario that you're in, okay? Number 1, if the scenario that you're in is guaranteed for you to be faster by shooting that bastard first, you shoot and then move, okay? Because you can analyze better off the line of attack, alright? And then you have move and shoot. If they already have the upper hand on you, you freaking get out the way first, and then you lay down some suppressive fire. Okay? What do I mean by suppressive fire? That means enough fire to, first of all, cause the brain blink, and number 2, stop whatever is going on. Why do we call it suppressive fire? Because a lot of people think about the double tap. Okay? A controlled pair. Get out of the mindset of controlled pair. 2 shots in today's world with today's drugs are simply not working. Alright? It's simply not working. Now, can it? Absolutely it can. Could you stop at 2 rounds? Absolutely. Unfortunately, sometimes some people's trigger fingers move a lot faster than shooting 2 rounds before a person's body starts to react. Alright? I'm not going to say that I am one of them, because I'm really not. I'm just saying. But listen to me, alright? Very carefully. Where it comes to movement, the key factor in that is just simply moving, okay? And you got a couple different forms of that. A lot of people try to train you all this cool, fluid movement, but they don't really give you the purpose, okay? Fluid movement is for when you're trying to activate cover, okay? Lateral movement or bilateral movement is when you're stepping left or right because you're trying to get off the line of attack. Now, here's the problem with that movement. When you move in a fluid motion, it makes your shot that much harder. Have you ever tried it in a non-stressful event? Well, think about it when somebody is shooting at you. Okay? I go back to that night when I was at the Pool Palace on Columbia Memorial Drive, when I had just broke up a fight inside the club, and everybody's headed for their goddamn car, and everybody didn't get in the car and hit the ignition button. They freaking got in their car and they got right back out. Okay? Ding, ding, ding. Green light, red light, blue light, light bulb. Something ain't going on right here. Alright? Everybody got out of the car and started, for lack of a better term, blasting at each other. Alright? What did I do? Well, as I was following them out to the parking lot, I'm thinking I'm about to make all these rascals go home. They had a different plan. I had to do fluid motion to get my butt back to behind my truck, not to be shot. Now, I never fired one shot in that whole situation. But had I done so, I could almost guarantee for a fact I would not have hit anything. Why? Because my stress levels were up here. That's the one time I feared being shot, and it is the time in my life that man upstairs got his name called quite a few times. Alright, and I almost pissed on myself. Alright, it was pretty rough. Alright, the fact is, there are going to be times where you use fluid motion, and there are going to be times where you use bilateral one-step motions to get out of the way. The purpose of training is so that you understand the differences in both. There's a video of a security officer down in Florida where these guys come in and try to rob the store. Actually, two guys did the same thing. Two security officers, two different situations. Both of them had fluid motion after realizing what was going on because they had to. If they stayed in the same place, they'd have been shot dead. Here's another thing. There were multiple attackers. Okay? Do you think it will help you to stand in one place after moving if there's multiple attackers? Who knows? We don't know, because I couldn't put myself in your situation. The point is, training is going to help you to understand that. Now, where else could I go with this?